So hi, everyone. My name is Sarah, and I'm the co-founder of Ripplfect. People are surprised to learn we already have the solutions we need to solve the climate crisis. More businesses than ever have incorporated climate solutions into their business model, and leading brands are spending millions to re-engineer their products to create sustainable product lines. Hitting ESG benchmarks is no longer just a CSR issue. It's a business imperative. Yet despite increased demand from the market, these solutions aren't reaching eco-conscious consumers. Over 50% of individuals don't know what sustainability commitments brands have made due to limited targeting, growing customer acquisition costs, and a lack of trust in sustainability claims on traditional platforms. We've talked to hundreds of CEOs and head of marketing at these companies who all say they're looking for alternative ways to reach and influence their target demographic. This translates to sustainable businesses missing out on $1.2 trillion from their target demographic, eco-conscious consumers. Ripplfect helps sustainable businesses directly reach and convert eco-conscious consumers. We centralize climate solutions users can trust, charging organizations to host their offering as actions on our community-based platform. We are the first platform to track, verify, and reward individuals for their impact. We use geolocation, image recognition, and link tracking to verify actions. They can use their points to redeem discounts, freebies, donations, and eventually cashback, amplifying engagement and retention. Organizations can also host week or month-long challenges on the platform, making progress towards ESG goals while building trust with their consumers through collective action. For example, Impossible Foods can host a Vegan for a Week challenge, expanding brand awareness while simultaneously increasing loyalty and brand recall. Through our small MVP and beta tests, we've acquired a community of almost 10,000 individuals and have seen an engagement rate of 65%. The actions we have driven have resulted in an average of 4,050 tons per capita per year of CO2 eliminated. We have 30 plus paid partnerships in green finance, solar, sustainable retail, and more. We've also had interest from organizations like Pinterest, Cornell, and the UN to access a backend platform to mobilize their students and employees to take action through lock teams. Today, we charge businesses either on a cost per click or CPA basis to list their sustainable offering as an action on the app. We also charge $5K to $100K for organizations to host challenges depending on the duration of the campaign and the number of users on the platform. In the future, Ripplfect's business model will expand to monthly and annual contracts with organizations who are looking to measure and track impact towards ESG goals with the Ripplfect backend. We have key organic acquisition strategies for a successful market entry. A month before launch on Earth Day, we'll put signage up in over 100 high-traffic businesses where individuals can get points for sustainable actions they already take, like bring your reusable bag to a grocery store. Post-launch, we'll activate integrations with large organizations that have shown interest in embedding climate action directly into their website, driving visibility across millions of website visitors. We have the expertise to be able to execute on our vision. As a sophomore in college, I moved across the country and did close to 1 million in sales for a solar company. I talked to thousands of individuals door to door, understanding what factors got them to make the switch to renewables. Alongside sales, I'm a marketing expert scaling marketing strategies for Fortune 500 companies. Anisha has experience working on product and growth, having worked as a product manager at Google, focused specifically on climate change solutions.
1 minute.
She's led products that have scaled to over 600 cities around the world, working closely with global organizations and city and state governments on climate solutions, connecting with world leaders at the UN. Finally, Manik Gupta, Ripplfect CTO, is a successful serial entrepreneur with over 12 plus years of full stack development experience. He has led engineering teams for 3 successful ventures. One of them is a cashback rewards app based in Dubai. With the conclusion of our MVP, we are looking to raise a pre-seed round early 2023 so we can hire key team members to propel our product development and sustainable partnership growth. This is just the beginning of consumers waking up to the urgency of the climate crisis. In the coming years, sustainability will be an integral part of a thriving business across all industries. Creating a sustainable future is not something any one organization can achieve alone. But with Ripplfect's global community of individual and businesses, we can drive climate action at all levels and spark a ripple effect.
Up. Awesome. That was a great pitch. Thanks for sharing. I'm going to pull the other investors in while I am. Quick double take. So did you say 4,000 tons of CO2 per user is what you guys were mitigating?
Oh no, not per user.
I thought it was per capita or per user.
No, so per year per capita. And that's just based on what we've done so far. And so we use count us in and drawdown methodology to calculate that.
Okay, that makes more sense. I thought you were saying you'd done 40 million tons already.
Oh my, no, I wish.
Mm-hmm. Would be pretty cool. Yeah. Matt, you want to kick off the questions?
Sure. I spent 30 years in digital and helped some of the biggest companies in the digital space scale from pre-seed to seeds or pre-seed to exit. So I've seen this story a lot. It's really hard to capture your market and compete. And I guess, what's your moat? I have an opinion about what moats are in the digital space, which there are none. Right. It's really brand and really execution.
100%.
So tell me what you're going to do to prevent the 5,000 other companies that are going to try to do exactly what you're doing, because there's definitely going to be a lot of competition out there.
Yes. And I'll kind of address the competition question first, and then I'll talk about our moat and kind of how we differentiate ourselves.
Great idea. I will download this today and if I can and use.
Awesome. Yeah. So, we're not alone in seeing the opportunity in this space. I think you guys have probably seen similar companies. Juro is kind of the biggest player in terms that they've raised outside capital. Juro charges users to offset their emissions, while we are free for the end user. And instead of, rewarding users for their impact, like we do, like I said, they charge the end user. And we've seen that existing climate apps and solutions kind of lack specificity in their actions. So they have like vague, untraceable actions around, like, for example, taking a shorter shower that someone can later self-report on. So where we really differentiate ourselves is we're providing extremely specific and trackable actions that someone can take. So like, for example, an action on our app is bring your old jeans to Madewell for their return program. And users can then take a picture at Madewell, so when they're physically there and their geolocation is there, of the jeans that they brought, and we can prove that they've taken that action. So this means that we can give you points in exchange for rewards while helping Madewell hit their sustainability goals. So what we've seen is a lot of the existing players, they don't have a mechanism to prove that an action has been taken, which essentially makes it worthless to businesses and individuals. Right. So I think that's like a key differentiator to the other players that we have seen in this space. Obviously, I mean, that's not necessarily a moat, right? The moat really comes in with our brand, right? And we've already started experimenting on social channels. Like we got 6 million views on a TikTok on like how to recycle a pizza box, right? So we're really trying to establish ourselves as a leader in this space. And I think, to your point, that is how you build the moat. And then once you have that impact on the platform, people aren't going to want to switch to another platform that they've already, built up their points. They have rewards, 100%. So.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
You mentioned something about having the potential for CO2 emission reduction, if I understand it correctly, or I don't know exactly how I calculated, but while at the same time you referred to something about like actions that they would have done otherwise. So how do you make sure that you're not, double counting in there for someone who would already anyway, for instance, bring their tote bag to the supermarket or recycle the jeans and etc. So how do you make at the same time people more engaged and just make sure that you are not addressing the same customers that would otherwise be doing the same behavior anyway?
Right. And so that's a great question. And I think really we're trying to find consumers where they are. So I think everyone, even if they don't realize it, does something sustainable, whether that be like shopping secondhand, whether that be bringing their reusable bag. So it's how do we get them in on those actions that they're already taking and convert them on other actions. So like when it comes to different actions we could provide, we're talking to solar providers. So obviously like getting solar on your roof, if you haven't had it before, that is a clear indication that we have driven that action. through our platform. Same thing with, for example, like signing up for a composting program. Some of those more repeatable ones, we won't necessarily, like companies won't be able to count that towards their ESG metrics. And I think we're still kind of like refining exactly like what that looks like. But it's super important that we get people on our platform based on like finding them where they are and what they're already doing, and then converting them on those other actions. So we try to make it an inclusive platform in that way.
What's your NPS score and virality coefficient?
Yeah, so currently our NPS score is about 80%, based on a survey that we sent out to our beta testers.
And what about like a viral coefficient? How many people are inviting their friends? How many of the friends? Like for every user, how many users do you get?
Yeah. So we've seen a 25% of our customers, when they sign up, we have like a, how did you hear about us? And they said that they heard about us through a friend. I think it is important to note that we have tried to keep our MVP, like we haven't necessarily been advertising for it. We've used it more for qualitative research to conduct user interviews, because we focus on one specific action. And obviously our full launch, which is going to go live in April for Earth Month, will have all different sustainable actions or climate actions that you could take.
Do you have any local versus global issues where there's tons of great options in Seattle and then you're in Detroit and there's Jack or something? Like,
yes.
How do you handle that? So some things are obviously bring your cup to work kind of deal or whatever,
Right.
but other things may be more challenging.
Definitely. And I think how we're looking at this is we really want to build an atomic network, because that's how these like consumer facing apps really take off. And so we're starting in New York City. We've looked for partnerships specifically in that area. We'll focus on growing our atomic network there. Once we've kind of figured out the formula, we'll then rinse and repeat in different cities. But of course, there are going to be actions that you can take from any place in the US, not just in New York City.
And how do you ensure that your users are coming back to the product? Do you know already the retention ratio that you have?
Yeah. So our MAU right now is at 20%. And really, and that is actually great considering we're focusing on one specific action that some people only take once a month. So we're interested to see how that kind of changes when we launch the full version of the product in April. And I think the main from talking to users, what brings people back is a few things, right? Depending on the user persona. So we have some people coming back for the gamification aspect. Like I had one user who said, I cannot let someone pass me on the leaderboard. We've had some users come back just specifically for the rewards. And then we have others that really like seeing their impact go up on their profile. So I think it kind of depends on the user. And we want to make sure too, this is something that I should note, that we have rewards for any type of user, including people motivated by intrinsic factors. So for example, you might be able to get like a discount or a freebie, or you might be able to donate your entire like $5, $10, whatever it is, to a nonprofit organization in the climate space.
If you don't have the intrinsic motivation, does it possibly just encourage more consumption?
So we're being very careful about the type of rewards that we offer and who we're partnering with. So I know I had kind of mentioned some of our partners. We're partnering with B Corps, and really we're only looking to encourage people to purchase products that they would already from a more sustainable option, right? So an example of that might be like toothpaste bits, right? So the freebie might be you get toothpaste bits, and we're transitioning you from using that over a plastic tube of toothpaste. So I think we're being very intentional about not promoting overconsumption and how we're rewarding users, but it's very important that we are activating any type of user persona. And so the rewards kind of play into that and play into people building that behavior. So.
And let's say the ideal scenario that, everyone starts using the app, how do you see the company in like 5 years time? What happened then?
Yeah. So in 5 years' time, our goal is to go international. So we really see this being a solution no matter where you are. And we think that is kind of the most powerful message. And also not just activating on an individual level, but on a corporate level. Like we really see that, and I kind of touched on it, but we've had interest in like our SaaS platform and actually hosting actions on these like website and existing platforms that get millions of users, right? So it's about, giving these corporations a way to engage with individuals and recognizing that, corporations and organizations can't hit their sustainability goals without this activation, without users, taking action. So really in the future, we see this being an international scalable company, and we see us activating actions on all different levels, not just on the individual level.
If it fails, why will it be?
So I think like if we're not able to, cultivate that community, like I talked about, how to recycle your pizza box. If we're not able to establish ourselves as that thought leader in the industry, I think that will make it extremely hard for us to scale. I think that would essentially be the reason why we weren't able to succeed.
Any last questions, folks?
No, I'm sorry.
No, you're good, Manuela. Who's the CEO when it comes down to it at the end of the day? Who makes the decision?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm the CEO, but I think we're both very involved in decision making. In terms of split, it's 50-50. So
okay, awesome. Well, looks like this.
So in terms of like kind of your business model and what you're doing, you mentioned TikTok a few times, different social media channels. There are companies out there in kind of this sustainability, clean, kind of clean consumer products. Say, for example, Melaleuca. I don't know if you've heard of them. But in terms of like kind of brand ambassadors, have you explored that as an approach where, you have people that are already kind of selling products and advocating, adamant about this particular effort, in terms of sustainability, ESG, so forth. Have you thought about that approach where there may already be people doing this with companies, say, for example, like Melaleuca, where they're running their own business through an existing brand?
So the question is activating like champions within our partnerships.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah, 100%. So for example, like one of our partners is Dip and their plastic-free shampoo. And she was so excited when I told her what we're working on that she sent out an email to everyone telling them to download our MVP. So I think in terms of like in getting partnerships, like we've secured partnerships with some of the top names in sustainability who are B Corps and are well known, and they've all been so excited about what we're doing. And so I think that applies to both the user and the partnership level, where even like, for example, nonprofits, like one of our partners is Surfrider Massachusetts, and they have been so excited and are, once we launch in April, are willing to blast it out to all of their user base. So I think, like, to your point, those strategic partnerships where we're kind of amplifying the work that they're already doing will definitely play into our go-to-market strategy. And that applies, like I said, to both the user and the on a partnership level, because we definitely have some users that are so excited that they're like, I want to pitch like my own shop, or I know someone that could do this. So definitely plan to utilize that, and universities as well too. We've been talking with NYU, and we are definitely looking to utilize like student ambassadors. So